there again, guys. This is number 2 in the mobility set that we're going to be releasing for you. Same sort of setup. We're going to be doing 4 exercises today. A little bit different though. Some are going to be reps and some are going to be timed. So it's going to make that 10 minutes go a little bit smoother as well. This one though, there's no rest. You just keep going just like the last one, all right? If you can, just do the whole thing for 10 minutes straight and stop at the 10-minute mark. Now, for these 4 exercises that I'm going to show you, you need a few things. Dumbbells if you have them, or weight plates, or just something that you can put on your knees. I'll show you that one when we get to it. And a mug, a glass, something that won't break. You have to be gentle with it, and I'll explain that one as well. And then also maybe a mat, something that you can put your knees on. All right, now I'll run you through the first one. First one, pancakes, but we're going to be using a glass. So if we start the timer now, open up your legs into a straddle position as wide as you can, and then bring it in just a smidge, okay? Now for this one here, you're gonna put something out in front of you. You're gonna reach forward just a little bit for each rep. This one's 10 reps, and every time you reach forward, just reach a little bit further forward, okay? Now with this one, you don't just wanna go and smash it forward, because then you're not gonna be able to reach it again for the second one. It's all about control, gently reaching, lifting, and putting it back down, okay? We're gonna be pointing our toes, squeezing our legs, slowly reaching, and just try and put that a little bit further each time, okay? And then, once you get so far that you can't lift and gently put it down anymore, you're gonna try and reach with your fingertips and push just a little bit further. Take your time with it. Get a tiny bit further every single time, and try not to push it so far that you can't touch it again on the next rep. Keeping those toes pointed, keeping your legs squeezed. At every set you do this, you'll be able to get a tiny bit further. And that's about my limit for today. If you can't, just try and keep touching where you've already put it. And 10 reps of that first one. So that's where the cup comes in. If you use a glass or a mug, try and put some water in it. It makes it a little more difficult. You have a little more control trying to pick it up and put it down. Now, for the next one, we've got what's called an active pidgeot. So for this one here, we're going to be placing hands right next to your feet in a kind of lunge position. Now, this hand goes right next to this foot. This one doesn't really matter where it goes there. But for this one here, we're starting with your knee inside your armpit. You're going to keep this back leg from touching the ground, and you're going to try and move your knee outside your armpit, and then push your knee to the ground, really stretching through your butt and your glutes, and then pulling that back into position, okay? Now, if you see my back leg there touch the ground, I've gone too far. I'm gonna keep that up off the ground, okay? We're gonna stretch and pull it back into position. It's a really good one for opening up through your hips, stretching your butt, because it's real tight, and it's a really uncomfortable stretch at first, but as you warm up into it, it gets a little bit nicer. This one here, we're going to do 10 on each side. Trying to keep this foot from lifting and moving around. It wants to stay planted from that original position. Trying to really open up through your butt. If you're not feeling this stretch through your glutes, you're doing it wrong. Because I'm feeling it stretch through my glutes. And 10. Okay, and then swapping it over. Ooh. One side's always a little bit tighter with this one. One side will be a lot more flexible. One side will be a lot more uncomfortable. So make sure with this one that you give both sides a little bit of love. Don't skip any reps. And trying to make sure that that back leg, that knee doesn't touch the ground. You're really focusing on this front leg here, trying to push that knee into the ground. 6, 7, 8. Now this one sucks when you first get started. It's usually about the second or third round that you get a little more mobility out of it. And 10. Okay, now third, we move into seated butterfly. For this one, you need a wall or a makeshift wall like I've made here, and just some weight, something to put on your knees if you can. So I've chosen some dumbbells, say 60 seconds for this one, starting right now for me. Doesn't really matter what you put on there, doesn't matter how heavy. With this one, you want to try and get your heels in as close as you can, and try and get your knees on the ground. This one for a lot of people is pretty tough, especially if you have really tight hips, tight hip flexors, tight adductors, and a lot of you might be looking a little more like this at the moment. Pull your heels in, wiggle close to the wall, and use your elbows to push down. And try and keep upright, pushing some pressure into your knees, trying to keep your knees down for that full 60 seconds, okay? If you can put the weight on your knees, just breathe through it. Just try and breathe. Try and relax. The goal for this one is to keep your heels as close to your groin as you can, and trying to get your knees to touch the ground. It took me a very long time to get my knees to touch the ground, so be patient. This one is quite uncomfortable to get started. And that's about your 60-second mark there. Now, for the last one, it's another 60-second hold, and we move into frog stretch. So for this one here, we're going to bring your knees out as wide as you can. All right, go down to your elbows, and you're gonna try and push your butt back over your hips, and we're trying to open your knees up to about 90 degrees, getting your feet flat on the ground. The goal for this one is to try and touch your groin on the ground, okay? It's very uncomfortable. If you can get a look at yourself, if you want to film yourself, you don't want to be forward and you don't want your heels to be in, your heels to be out and your hips to be back. So you kind of use your elbows to push back a little bit. And then relax. Even though this is not relaxing in the slightest. 60 seconds for this one as well. So we'll pick another 30 seconds from now as our 60-second mark if you're doing it with me, which you should be. Now this one is quite uncomfortable and it takes a little while to get relatively low to the ground. The mat that I told you to get something to rest your knees on in the beginning is for this one here. It's a little bit painful if you're putting your knees on the ground, so get something cushy, cushions. Just be careful though that if you have slidey floor and you put something under your knees, your body weight is going to push you out wider and it's very, very uncomfortable. So get something that doesn't move underneath your knees and just make sure that you're pushing back into your hips a little bit as well. If you can, relax, put your chest on the ground. If you can, get someone to hang behind you and push down on your hips or put some weight on your back. You can use the weights that you had earlier to sit across your lower back and just let that extra weight do its job. That's our 60 seconds there. All right. Ow, and that's one round. So now we're gonna go back through, okay? Our pancake again, getting whatever object you're using, pointing your toes, squeezing your legs as wide as you can, and then just wiggling them in a tiny bit. And then round two. This time, you should get just a little bit further. Try as hard as you can to gently pick up and place your object. You're gonna wanna just go and smash it down, but this one's all about control. So try and go as slowly as you can. Reaching forward. Oh no, that's my limit. As far as you can. If you can't reach any further, just tap the furthest that you've been able to get. Which is right there for me. Making sure you're keeping your toes pointed and keeping your legs squeezed. This one's pretty nice. There's two more. And 10. Woo! And then back into our active pigeons. You get into your long lunge, hands right next to your foot, and we go again. Now this one's exactly the same as the last workout. You want to try not to stop the entire time that you're doing this. If you have to, stand up, shake it out, just keep going. Just never stop ever. And try and get through 3 to 5 rounds. This will start off being really tough. All of the mobility sets will be, but they'll get easier with time. If you just do it once and never do it again, you're kind of torturing yourself. You want to be doing them regularly so that you can improve. It gets nice the more you do it and the more you improve. It goes from being painful to being nice and comfortable and stretchy. You feel better. But to begin with, it is quite uncomfortable. Some positions are a bit pinchy. Some don't feel as nice as others. So practice. Do these several times a week, 2 to 3 times if you can. and just keep practicing them. There's a lot of mobility sets that we're going to be doing, so pick your favorite and make sure you do them more than once a week. It's tight. Getting through all 10. 9 and 10. And back to our seated butterflies. Back up against the wall. Heels in as close as you can. And then weights on your knees. Okay. So there's a lot of explaining in this one. We're almost at our 10-minute mark. We're almost at our 10-minute mark. Because I have been speaking through it, it has taken me a little longer to get through, so we'll go through a full extra round and make sure we get at least 3 rounds in for the video. What? What did you say?
Just 2.
Just 2? Oh, we're only doing 2 rounds?
Yeah, just finish the 2 rounds.
Okay, you have to end that by now.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just put it. So we're only going to get through 2 rounds. It's taking me a little longer to explain through this one, so we're only going to get through 2 full rounds. This one is one that you need to practice at to get through more, so we're aiming for 3 to 5 rounds. And that is 60 seconds. Just be careful getting into and out of these ones, because they can be pretty sore. Now, frog stretch one more time. Now for this one, if you do find it easy, you can, and you should definitely try those harder positions. Getting your hips down as low to the ground as you can, feet flat on the ground and nice and wide, down on your elbows, pushing a little bit of weight back. Full 60 seconds starting right now. Got a little bit of weight to help you out. Now with this one, if you want to get someone else, a partner to help you out, get them to stand on this side and push down on your back. Don't get them to stand behind you. It's a little bit awkward. So if you're going to get a partner to help you out, they stand on this side and just gently lean their body weight down on you, pushing your groin down to the ground. They're being really nice about it as well, because this is a very, very compromising position. You don't want to injure the person that you're helping stretch. So just gently, a little bit of body weight. We have another 30 seconds before we stop. So just relax, you know, just chill out. Think of better times. 10 more seconds. And then that'll be us. We did go a little bit over the 10 minutes today. Usually we get you to stop at your 10-minute mark. I just wanted to get through 2 full rounds to show you how it's done. Ooh. Ow. And that is our second mobility circuit. Enjoy.